Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for staying up late with us and being here with us for another live edition of the show. It is Wednesday, December the 8th, 2011, now going into Wednesday, December 7th, 2011, going into Thursday, December the 8th, 2011. Someone pointed out last week, and I remember doing it like right after I went, oh shit. I jumped the gun last week and said one of the dates was 2012. I don't know. You know how it is, man. You start researching all this shit all the time, and it all just, it all just runs together after a while. So I apologize for that. But thanks for being with us here tonight. We've got, there's a bit of news. There's some crazy stuff to talk about, but not a whole lot. In fact, I contemplate whether or not I was going to do a show tonight or not, but I said, well, fuck it. Might as well. What the hey? Talk about what we do have to get into and some emails as well tonight. If you have questions, comments, anytime or during the show, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's where you send in your emails, questions, comments, all that kind of stuff is sent over there. And I'll do my best to answer your questions and read them out loud on the show as well. So definitely send them there. My website, of course, where this broadcast originates from, is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. There at that website, you'll find all the things that pertain to the show. To listen live, you'll find links to the stream. And even when I'm not live, there's always stuff on the stream. So definitely tune into the stream. 24 hours a day, there's always repeats of shows. If you missed live shows, they start streaming, the show after it's live starts streaming immediately following the live show. So, and then on the weekends and stuff, we'll do marathons of the whole week or what have you, or the past couple of weeks. So it gives you opportunities to catch up on shows that you miss and, still get to listen to them in a somewhat live environment, But that's why I like to make sure that my archives, we broadcast at 128K here. Most stations do 64K and 128K for members. Here, everybody's a member, really. So, that's kind of the way we do it here, but it's 128K. I like it because, I just never saw the point of using, studio mics and all this stuff. And it, you're doing it on a 16K. It sounds like shit. It sounds like AM radio. It sounds like crap. I like it to sound nice and crisp. I like the music to sound nice and crisp. So that's why I do it. And that's why I like to have the archives in high quality as well, because that way the archive sounds, identical to the quality that you're hearing when you're listening to it live. It sounds like, it's really a perfect replica. So there you go. TheGlobalReality.com. Under the documentary tab up there as well, you can watch my newest film, The Sing Right Volume 2, in its entirety. $5 pay-per-view up there. You get 3 tries of it, and so you can pause it or whatever have you, start it up again there. But we also have the DVDs and the Blu-ray packages for sale. Those and we we've finally gotten that done and handled and paid for, and it is a done deal. So Cigarette Volume 2 is officially done. DVD, Blu-rays, all that stuff, artwork, paid for, done. And so we're just waiting the shipment of the discs, which said it should take a couple of, I said 5 days. 5 days for them to manufacture it, and then I got like second day air shipping or something like that. Paid extra to get here a little quicker. So I think we're looking probably at like 7 business days or something like that. Probably another, I'd say 7 to 10 business days it'll be here. And as soon as they get here, whatever day they get here, pretty much go ahead and count on there not being a show that day, because or for a day or two. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really have that many to ship out, I guess. But I'm kind of a one-man operation. I'll have to get some friends to help me. But I'll probably have to take a night off from the show whenever those get in, so I can get all the orders filled and out. So that's why I'm trying to encourage everybody to go ahead, and if you want to buy a copy of the film, if you're planning on buying one, go ahead and buy it now. It's done deal now. We're just waiting on them to be shipped. So the reason I say that is because if you get your order in now, I'll be able to, when these discs get here, and I'm thinking roughly they're going to get here around, I don't know, the 20th, 19th, 20th, something like that. I don't really know for sure. But anyway, everybody who orders between now and the time that the discs get here on about the 19th, maybe before then, maybe after that, I'm not for sure. You're going to get your disc shipped out the same time I ship everything else out. And everybody that pre-orders is going to get bonus stuff. So if you wait any longer than that, it's probably going to be till after the holidays, maybe after the new year, till you get your discs. So I'm just letting you know, trying to keep you updated. Now would be the time in the next couple of weeks if you want to order one and you want to get it as quick as possible. Please do that over the next few weeks, or in the next week and a half or so we can. I'd like to go ahead and, you know what I mean? I'd like to not have orders hanging around. If we can go ahead and figure out, everybody wants to buy one as soon as possible in here, we can get them out to everybody that much quicker, and we can more than likely get them to you for before Christmas. Well, I definitely will be able to get them to you before Christmas because, like I said, that's why we're doing this. But I have to take a day off from the show or whatever. But yeah, a lot of people told me they wanted to buy some to give as Christmas gifts. That's a great idea. That's a super idea. I ran out of funds because it cost so much to buy these discs. So I'm kind of running on shoestring now. But I had wanted to order another. Because I'm almost out of Secret Ride Volume 1s. In fact, I don't think I have too many left. I wanted to order a few more of those to have in case people wanted to buy, wanted to buy both of them together or whatever. But after paying the bills last week, and then I was like, oh, well, I'm doing pretty good. All right. Things are going great. They paid bills and sent off for these things to be manufactured. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm very broke. Yeah. But I'm very excited that we're going to have the discs and all that stuff real soon. I'm very excited they're going to be getting to you really soon. So definitely go there and order your DVDs as well and Blu-rays. We have a bunch of packages. It seems so far the few orders that we've had so far, we've had 5. I think we've had about 5 or 6 people order so far from not counting pre-orders, but just since we put up the stuff for sale. And the idea that I had for the packages, that's really what I wanted to do this time, was have, not just have just the disc or whatever, to have different packages where you get different stuff. And that's been very popular so far. I think we've maybe had one person, I think maybe, who just got the disc. Everybody else has gotten the bigger packages. That's really awesome. And I think that's a I like it when people, artists do that model, musicians or films or whatever. I like when, they sort of do that now. That's sort of the model for the industry. You know, it's like you have price points, you have different stuff. You know, if you want to spend a little extra and get extra stuff, that's, you know, hey, that's your prerogative. There it is. But I think you're going to enjoy the data disc. Those of you that ordered the research pack or the deluxe packs or any of that, and those of you pre-ordered will get it too. But it's basically like it's going to be like a data dump disc. It's just going to be basically like all the files, like a lot of the file stuff that I used to make the film. And I'm thinking about putting some stuff from Volume 1 on there too, maybe. But you'll just have it, you know, in raw format. There'll be video files, there'll be pictures, all kinds of stuff like that, and you'll be able to use that in your own research. And you will have the extended clips, like the extended the Georgetown Jesuit University clip that I took, where they're talking about the Black Pope ushering in the New World Order. Yeah, funny, you know, Jones never seemed to mention the Black Pope ushering in the New World Order, but that really, you need to see that whole clip. I was torn. I'll tell you, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show yet or not, but I was really torn because I really wanted to put that entire 45-minute Jonestown thing in there, or not Jonestown, Georgetown Jesuit Pedro Arrupe video in there. It's 45 minutes long. I really wanted to put that in there because, to me, you really got to see the whole thing. Really got to watch it front to back because there's a lot of stuff in there. And somebody in the chat, coming in the chat room a couple of weeks ago and asking about you know, the about the Pope when they tried to kill him because he was trying to expel the Jesuits, and then he came back and said, "Hey, I was lied to. They told me the Jesuits were bad, and I found out they're not bad." That's in that clip, but see, it was either put the whole thing in there or edit it down to the small part that I had it to. But anyway, the answer to that person's question who was asking about that, they actually answer that question and talk about that in that video. So if you get the research pack, you'll get the extra disc that'll have that with it, and so you'll be able to watch some of these extended clips. I'll put some of the news clips and stuff in there as well. But yeah, I think people are really going to enjoy that. So yeah, get them in now, and if you get them in between now and the time the discs get here, then you'll certainly get it get first priority on to having it shipped out. Totally excited. I've had a couple of people ask me if I'm going to have an event for this, and I've thought about it. I have thought about having like a premiere, yeah, renting a theater and having some speakers and having some bands play. Yeah, I've thought about it. It requires. Well, I mean, it just depends on where you want to do it at and what size it is. I mean, you can spend, you know, a small amount and have a small type of thing. You know, I had my first film event at the Lakewood Theater in Dallas, old Art Deco theater. Used to go there when I was a little kid, and it's been there since the 30s. But it's a great place. It's pretty expensive. I think we paid, I don't know, $1,400-1,500 for it. But where I really want to have it at, this is my dream place to have a film, and this would just be the perfect film to have there, and it'd probably be a big deal. And you know, I've had different people on the show through the years who said that they would come to an event if I had one. You know, I think we had William Henry on this year. I think he said he would come to an event if I had one. Who else? I know Tessarian has said that. A few people, I don't know, but no, they have recently, over the past year, somebody's bought and renovated here in Dallas. It's been sat shut for years, but somebody finally bought it and renovated it, and it's reopened now. The Texas Theater in Oak Cliff, where they snatched Oswald, where his handler instructed him to go and sit tight until they came and picked him up for Patsy Patrol. But anyway, the Texas Theater, yeah, and they've actually got the seat marked in there where Oswald was sitting and everything like that. They had a showing of Bill Hicks, the documentary American on Bill Hicks. They had a showing there. I thought that was pretty proper, you know, to have a Bill Hicks documentary at the Texas Theater. I didn't go, but a bunch of my friends went. But that would just be a killer thing for me, because it was a dream come true to have 9/11 New World Rising open at the Lakewood Theater. But man, to do this movie there, but it's $2,500. I checked into it. That's how much it costs. It's which, you know, I guess if you sold tickets, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Especially if I did like a speaking thing, like a presentation, showed the film, and maybe had another speaker out or something like that. Yeah, it's like $2,500 for to rent it for an event. But that'd be sweet, man. Have an event and have like the demigods play, and I could do a presentation, show the film, and I've had a lot of people asking about it and requesting. I've had people that said that they would come from all over the world to come to it. If I did, that's amazing. I've gotten emails from people that said I'll fly from, Wales to come to this thing. I'll fly from Ireland to come to this thing. New Zealand. It's crazy. I get those messages from people all over the planet. It's amazing. I mean, that's the thing is that sometimes you have to take these things out into the general public and let people have in a one room together. It's amazing. I was just amazed when I put out 9/11 New World Rising in the theater, and people were just transfixed to it, man. I mean, it was an amazing thing to stand back and look at a theater full of people watching something you made on a screen. It just tripped me the fuck out, man. It was like, I just never thought I'd be there. I mean, that was truly an amazing thing. And I haven't really had that again with any of the films that I've made. It was amazing watching people eating popcorn and they're watching your movie. But the biggest thing that got me, I saw William Rodriguez, like the bombs were going off and he like jumped, man, like it shell shocked him. Like he just it shook him. Like took him back to that moment for a second. Man, that was intense. That was very intense. But there is something to that, and I think that also encouraging an environment where you have a bunch of people together watching it in a theater or something, and then people discussing it afterwards and talking about why this kind of stuff's important and the ideas and and trying to inform more people about it. I really have thought about maybe trying to do something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. I just, people have asked me. So I wanted to address that. Again, theglobalreality.com is my website. We have a chipping banner, the donate button there. And you can use the chipping banner. That's for our bills and our operating costs for the month. So please hit that up and support us after paying the bills and buying all the DVDs and stuff. We're kind of down to low level right now. So any help we get would be super duper at the website, theglobalreality.com. I had, while we're on that subject, I had an email from Scott, who came in at our executive producer level for the film, and his name in the credits there for that. But Scott had some ideas for goals. I don't know if I want to read all of this because it's kind of long, but basically the long and the short of it is that his idea is that we should always have goals, and that every time that I have a goal set, we seem to do quite well. And on the times when I don't have any goal set and we just have a chipping banner up for the month for bills or whatever, that we seem to get less support during those times. And you know what? He's absolutely right. I mean, I've experienced it. So, I mean, I've been the one it's happened to. So he absolutely is 100% right on that, that assessment. So his idea, long and the short, I'm not going to read the whole email, but his idea was that, that I should combine basically, because like I've talked about before, it basically boils down to this. You have to have operating costs, stuff like that, expenses for the month. But then when it comes to making a film, the way that I've done it, because I'm not in the position to where I have a lump sum of cash to have a budget for a film. If I had that, it wouldn't, there would never be any issues for having donations for films and all that stuff. Because that's how most of the time how films are made. Most of the time what happens is you have an idea for a film, and you take that idea to someone who has money and you pitch it to them. And if they like the idea and the concept of the film, they give you X amount of dollars to make the film, develop the film, et cetera, et cetera. Or if you can't get anything done that way, and I haven't ever tried because I just assume with the stuff that I make and the topics that I'm talking about, I can try till the cows come home. And really, people who actually pay for movies to be produced are probably not going to pay for something that I make to be produced. At least not right now, maybe in the future. I'd like to do a film that maybe wasn't about this kind of stuff at some point. Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is that you kind of have to be in a position where I got to fund this myself. How am I going to fund this? This myself. So if you have a lump sum of money to make a film with, you have a budget, that's an easy thing to do. What happened generally for me is that I don't have a lump sum of cash to make a film. So over the course of a period of time, I've had to estimate what I thought it was going to take to get what I needed to buy materials and all, equipment, and by materials, I mean news clips and whatever have you, whatever, little extraneous things, software, all these little things that pop up, just millions of little pop-up things that come up that you got to have, but normally it's been one of those things where, it takes forever because you only get, if you get $500 here and, you use that for something, okay, well, that's gone. Well, that's not your whole budget. So that's been the problem. So that's why it's taken a lot longer for my movies to come out, or specifically this movie to come out. That's one of the reasons. But the other reason was I just needed new gear. Once I got the new gear, it was a lot easier. But I was just doing it over and over and over again. I probably made that film 3 or 4 times and scrapped it because I was doing it on the PC and it just didn't have the right look to it. But anyway, the long and short of it is that Scott's idea is that we should have, with the chipping banner every month, we should have there should be the operating costs and set a goal higher for that to be a combination of operating costs and capital costs for making the films. So he's talking about bumping the chipping banner goal up every month and setting goals for that, like saying, having a goal where, okay, this is what we're shooting for this month. So that basically, you're not taking as much time to do something and you actually have a war chest to go to. I see what he's saying. One thing he said also is that, he was asking about the Netflix and iTunes thing. And he said, so, you say you can put the See Right 2 on Netflix and iTunes for maybe $3,000. Could the film get censored by them? I'd hate to make a big investment only to have it censored, which is a bigger priority. Coming up with capital costs for the Rockwall film or getting the secret right to on Netflix, iTunes for bigger exposure for you and your work. Well, that's the thing about the iTunes Netflix thing. The service that I found to do that was very hard to do it on your own. It only takes $37 for you to give them the application, and if they choose you, then you got to have the $3,000 to make it go through. But yeah, you don't have to have the money up front for that. So that it would be one of those situations where I just have to, spend the $37, apply, see if it gets. But that's the thing. Supposedly is that by going through them, they almost 100% of the time assure that you're going to get selected. So, I don't know what would be the bigger priority, the film or getting on Netflix, iTunes. Well, you know what? I don't know. It's hard to say. I would have to say right now, because my priority is getting this film out and it's in the best way that I can before moving on to the next thing. I would say that the priority for me right now would be to get that on Netflix and iTunes, because you're talking about reaching a whole section of the population that any other way would be impossible for me to reach. And I think that's why we don't have as many listeners as we have now. It's just people just don't know that we're here. People don't know that I'm here. Don't know that the show exists, and when I do, it even exists. It's crazy. I mean, I'm known more all over the world than I am even in my hometown of Dallas. But nobody knows who I am here. Nobody's ever heard of this show. I've been in this for 4 years. Nobody even here in Dallas barely even knows that I exist. But a lot of people scan through those movies, and Alex Jones has got movies up there. I know Loose Change is up there. Another thing that Scott said here in the email was, don't try to go head to head with your competition when it comes to resources. You can still put out excellent quality work on a budget. If better resources ever come your way, great. Deal with that when it comes your way. You know what? I mean, see, that was the problem before I had, a halfway decent camera and a halfway decent computer. I was never trying to go head to head with the competition in terms of resources and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get to a playing field that's somewhat level. You know what I mean? That's the whole that's been the whole thing. I haven't been able to make any films that looked, that would compete with these other films. And at least, make the information translate to people in a better way. That's the most important thing. But he says, set a total budget even before you start the production of the movie. Even if you don't have the money in the first place, you can aim for the money that you need. Be more specific about what you're aiming for in terms of a dollar amount that you want to shoot for. I know it isn't always possible to plan everything out from the start from perfection, but I think it would be better than piecemealing it and not having a budget. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as the Rockwall film goes, as far as how much, if you're asking how much that's going to be or what will the budget be for that film, you know what? That's difficult to ascertain because I would say from a technical standpoint of actually making the film, I mean, we have a computer and camera and all that stuff now, so that's easy action. But the biggest thing I think for that's probably just going to be expenses, gas and travel expenses and all that stuff, and that's probably going to be the biggest thing. I would say probably. I mean, of course, that we're not going to be able to do any. We're not going to be able to go out and dig anything up. That would take hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm not even. That's not what this film's about anyway. That's not what I'm trying to do here with that anyway. But I've also been thinking of other ways that I could maybe try and expand the content of the film itself because I was thinking about expanding it to include not just the rock wall, but also other ancient sites that have been found around the United States that I've heard about. Supposedly, somewhere up in Oklahoma, they found the remnants of a Phoenician fortress. No shit. But there's all kinds of these anomalies, and there's a bunch of them around the United States. And I kind of had this idea of cataloging some of these places and doing some research on them and finding out where a lot of these different places are at, and trying to accumulate a budget to be able to go and travel to these places. And because I've always wanted to do a film where where it's actually like a documentary, where you go out and you go to the places and film there, and I've always wanted to do a film like that, and I haven't got to do a film like that yet, and that's kind of where I was going with the Rock Wall film. So, I would say it just depends on the budget's going to depend on what direction I decide to take it. I would like to take it in the direction of going out. I would say roughly. I don't know, $5-6 grand, who knows, something like that. Could run more than that. Always runs more than what you think it's going to run, but $5-6 grand, 10 grand would probably be super. Who knows? That's over the course of a period of time, but it would just depend on what was going to be done there. Cause sometimes, you have to pay people to talk to you. It's a matter of fact. I mean, that's probably going to be the case with some of this stuff. Because from what I understand, there's a bunch of people who live in Rockwall and families, old money families, old families who've been around there, local yokels for a long time. But from what I understand, supposedly there are many local yokels in Rockwall who have pieces of the wall, artifacts, things in their home, things that they're very reluctant to share with other people. And I'm going to place an ad on Craigslist and in the Rockwall newspaper, and I'm just going to say straight up, I'm making a film on the ancient rock wall. If you have information, I'm looking for it. I need it. Artifacts, info, pictures, you got whatever you got, and put the dragnet out. Because I guarantee you, folks, people think that there's money involved, think there's something that's going to be, on TV or in a documentary. You'd be surprised. People will tell you a lot more when the camera's running sometimes than they will. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, people, it's like Barbara Walters syndrome. People see I don't know. And I just have a feeling there's somebody out there who have some information that they could share on this thing, who've been sitting on it for a long time and have been eaten up inside, not being able to talk about it or tell anybody. And, by God, I'm gonna see if I can find those people. So, anyway, long story short, there with Scott and his questions, I appreciate all your input there, Scott. I think that's a good idea. He's chipping banner for capital costs in a film. Put it at $2,000 a month or $2,500 a month or something like that. Every month instead of just the operating costs. It's a good idea. Maybe we should try that coming into the new year in 2012. But appreciate all the input there, and I definitely think that that's on the right track with stuff that I've been wanting to do, and trying to figure out new ways of doing things and stuff like that. But our whole point of the rock wall film, though, and why I want to do this, like I said, it's impossible pipe dream to think that we're going to be able to, we would afford a budget where we could go up and, actually have a dig, because it would just take so much resources. But that's the whole point of why I want to make the film, and possibly go to some of these places and find, I'd love to go out. I mean, it's like, it wouldn't cost that much. We're talking about gas money, car rental money, and, food and lodging. I mean, that's, a few thousand, $5,000-$6,000 you probably would do it. Travel some of these locations, do some location shoots, and combine that. I mean, I've already got, the thing about the rock wall thing is I've already got so much information on it that, and I've already talked to, a couple of years ago, we'd been talking to John Lindsay, the architect, who had been on the original dig. I have footage from his from that original dig. It's at the very end of the CGR Volume 2. And we'd been to his house and talked to him, and so it's not going to be any problem for me to get a hold of him and do some talking to him again on camera and get some stuff video, because he 100% beyond any shadow of a doubt believes that it was constructed by extraterrestrials. But I don't know if I necessarily trust the guy, but I'm going to interview him and I'll talk to him, see what information I can get out to him. I mean, we went to his house. I've been in his house, and there was just some odd things in his house, and I found out later that he worked on one of the Apollo missions for NASA, and that just sent off huge red flags for me. I didn't know this at the time when we met up with him, went to his house. I had no idea that he'd actually worked on the Apollo mission, John Lindsay, and that the way that he found out about the rock wall was from looking at Landsat images from NASA. And that immediately started sending off red flags to me, did NASA, is he the front guy for NASA making it look like this is some regular, Joe Schmo civilian just interested in ancient archaeology, But in his house, he had some strange things that struck me as on me. First off, it looked like his front room he had in his house. And he lives on the outskirts of Rockwall, Texas. And it looked like a museum, man. And he had some stuff in there that I know for a fact he probably shouldn't have had. He had a Mayan spaceman statue in there. It looked like it came out of a museum. It was a red Mayan statue, and it was a Mayan spaceman. It was a guy in a spacesuit. I've never seen anything like this. He had it in a fucking case. It was the real thing. I saw it. He had a picture of him with Zachariah Sitchin. Like a picture of him, not a Photoshop, a picture of him with Zachariah Sitchin. And he had some of the artifacts from the wall itself. But, he's the guy that I've talked about that, he got visited by Vatican people. Right after he started talking about asking why Congressman Ralph Hall, who's a CMP member, who has his offices in downtown Rockwall on top of one of the domed rooms, one of the temple rooms, and he started asking why he had one of the big garnet stones that had these ancient hieroglyphs on. And a bunch of inmates saw him and some dudes stealing it out of the basement of the Rockwall jail in the middle of the night. As soon as he started asking questions about that, Rockwall Historical Society said, nope, no more. Dig is done. We're pulling all support behind it. All the funding got pulled. And you can bet your sweet ass I sure as fuck made sure I mentioned that at the end of the Secret Ride Volume 2. Because it's certainly worth mentioning in light of everything else we've seen with these priest class types. Man, oh man, oh man. Got an email here from MJ. It says the Book of Jasher. What's that supposed to mean? Would you like me to read the Book of Jasher on the air? Is that what that is? It just says the Book of Jasher. That's kind of cryptic, man. Do I need to read it personally? Should I read it on air later? Is it a request? Please let me know. Here, you always want to read all of the emails that you get, and I want to make sure I read a hateful one when I get it. And this one came from somebody named Hilly. And this was someone on YouTube who I mentioned last night on the show. One of the people who, how come you just stopped the movie? Oh my God, this is all. We'll watch the 49 minutes of the film. I can't believe you just stopped the whole movie right there. Oh my God. Well, you read the fucking text, moron. It says it's one piece of a 3-hour film, and you're leaving comments. It was so over your head for you to read the information below the video that you had to use that information to leave a comment, which revealed what a moron you are for not being able to read the fucking text where I explained to you that that's not the entire video. You want to pop off half-cocked, spouting bullshit, saying, you just stopped it right in the middle of the movie. How come you didn't keep talking about Jones? That's because it's not the whole movie. If you would have read that, you would have understood that. How's that so hard? Why am I asking? Am I asking so much of someone for them to expect them to read information that I'm giving you so that those questions don't arise? How's it my fault? I'm not sure why you're so rude, Josh, on YouTube. Neither of us like the same people, including AJ. After that asinine post you did, I took you off my websites. Shame, you have some decent info. Nothing I didn't know, but decent presentation of it. Unfortunately, your attitude will turn more people away than attract and inform. Maybe that is your purpose. Hopefully, your owners will pay you as good as they do AJ. No need to respond back. We're done here. You be a loud asshole while we continue to wake people up. Okay, well, I'll do that, and you do that. And you have a nice day there, Hilly7, who the fuck you are. No need to respond back. Well, no, I didn't respond back. I just read your fucking name and your email out on the air, asshole. There you go. How you like that? Oh, and by the way, Hilly, here's one for you on your way out the door.
Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. Suck Satan's cock, Hilly.
There you go. Let's see what we have. I mean, this one's been cooking all day. This shit's been stewing, and it's about ready to come out. This is unbelievable. I'm sure everybody's heard by now the mysterious planet-sized object spotted near Mercury. It looks like the Starship Enterprise. It's fucking crazy. There's literally a cloaked object, a cloaked UFO next to Mercury. You see this video of it when the coronal mass ejection washes over it. The energy from it messes with its cloaking device, and you can actually see the structure itself. And all the comments of people saying, "Oh, well, they're saying it's the size of a planet, so there's no way it could be a spaceship if it's the size of a planet. That's impossible." I mean, really, that's the problem with us as a society, is that we think that there are things that are impossible. And that kind of thinking is exactly what keeps you in a box. You think it's completely impossible just because you've never seen it, that there could be a giant ship out there the size of a planet? My God, it's a big universe, folks. Now, there's a lot of evidence for giant people. For God's sakes, there's a lot of evidence for giants around this whole rock wall thing. That's one of the more interesting things about it. They found giant skeletons and giant skulls all around the area. Somebody found a cave that had a giant's bed in it with giant sandals and a pot that had human bones cooked in it where he'd been eating, humans. But what this is, I don't know. But this is some pretty heavy evidence, because that washing of that energy over that, revealing that an object like that's pretty insane. There's just no telling what it is. But yeah, I think we're going to get. I've been saying this for the past couple of years, and I say it right around this time of year every year. I said it at the end of the year in 2009. I said it at the end of the year in 2010. I said it at the end of the year 2011. Now I'm saying it now. Get ready to see some aliens, whether they're real or whether they're fake or holograms, or TV fakery, or whether they're cooked up in a laboratory. I don't know. Maybe they're real. Maybe they are from Zeta Reticuli. I don't know. But get ready to see some aliens, as Kissinger would say, either real or promulgated, because I think it's pointing in the direction that the aliens are definitely on their way. And then this revealing today, I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Those of you who are sci-fi buffs, I know we got some sci-fi buffs out there and probably got some in the chat room. Experts stumped by ancient Jerusalem markings. Now, I saw this and I thought, wow, that's an odd thing to come out the same day as the cloaked ship story. And I swear that these V-shaped markings, I've seen this in either the original TV series V with the reptilians, or I've seen it in X-Files on a UFO or something. But I swear I've seen markings like that in some science fiction show on an alien craft, either in the original V series on the ships. They had like kind of a swastika looking symbol on those, I think, or in the X-Files. I don't know, but I just thought it was an interesting thing that would be found or talked about the same day as this is going on. They're saying it's an ancient pre-Canaanite language. They don't know what they can't decipher it. Mysterious stone carvings made thousands of years ago and recently uncovered in an excavation underneath Jerusalem have archaeologists stumped. Israeli diggers who uncovered a complex of rooms carved into the bedrock in the oldest section of the city recently found the markings. 3 V-shaped cuts next to each other in the limestone floor of one of the rooms, about 2 inches deep and 20 centimeters long. There were no finds to offer any clues pointing to the identity of who made them, what purpose they serve. The shapes are found in a dig known as the City of David, a politically sensitive excavation conducted by Israeli government archaeologists and funded by a nationalist Jewish group under the Palestinian neighborhood of Silwan in East Jerusalem. The rooms were unearthed as part of an excavation of fortifications around the ancient city's only natural water source, the Gihon Spring. But I swear I've seen those markings in some sci-fi show before. I just don't know. Total Recall? Yeah, I did watch Total Recall recently. Was that it? That was it, wasn't it? It was Total Recall because the alien hand. Remember that? And that was what activated that oxygen system under Mars. And there's all this talk about, we got to go to Mars, and Obama said we're sending stuff to Mars to search for life. Remember that? And you're exactly right. It was Total Recall. And because that alien hand thing that came out of that guy's chest was, it was an ancient alien oxygen machine that was inside. The aliens built inside. Yeah, Total Recall was totally written by Philip K. Dick. Absolutely, it was. Absolutely, fuck yeah. But that was what was amazing about it, was because inside of the Earth, inside of Mars, there was this ancient alien oxygen machine, and the guy, the big rich guy, was sitting on it and running a racket with it. But Rick in the chat room says all this stuff is tying together: Mayan Indians being genocided by CMP-friendly dictators, Mayan astronauts, Rockwall, Kennedy being killed in Texas, Rockwall being in Texas, NASA control being in Houston, the Rockwall guy being CMP connected, and getting a visit from Vatican people. All this stuff is tying together in a weird way. Texas Instruments being the first computer company to be popular. Yeah, and guess what they built on Texas Instrument is built in Dallas on this old farm that had been there for hundreds of years. And it's now off a major highway between intersection of 635 and Highway 75. And that's where Texas Instrument is built. And I was reading that when they built Texas Instruments on this farm, after they bought this farm out, and they built Texas Instruments big, it's a big, massive, sprawling complex, they found an entrance into these massive underground tunnel systems that are laser etched into the bedrock under the city of Dallas. And I can't find anybody that'll talk to me about this. I saw one video one time where this lady talked about it. I can't find any more information on it. And then I read online that they had found these little green men, little green underground dwellers in an entrance to at the entrance to these underground tunnels at the mouth of the complex where Texas Instruments is now located at, Rick. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable stuff. And supposedly, and I haven't been able to, I can't confirm this, so I didn't put this in the film, but from what I understand, the word around the campfire is that supposedly, and look, I don't know if this is true, so please take this with a grain of salt. I can't prove this 100%, but it sounds feasible to me. Okay. So originally, Lake Ray Hubbard, where Rockwall is in Rockwall, Texas, where a lot of the walls in the domes are located at, was not originally slated to be a lake. It was supposed to be like a wooded area, nature preserve type area. And so they were clearing this out. And they were going to make it kind of like a nature area because it was very wooded and had trees and everything, because there's still parts of the lake that have trees sticking out, but very hard to get into because they just flooded a big area that was towns, and there's tons of trees and stuff there. But it wasn't originally slated to be a lake. And so they were cleaning this out, and they found these domed rock rooms. And one of the caterpillars digging, the tractors digging in there, cracked one of the rock rooms, and it fell off into this deep, deep cavern. And now they officially say that Lake Ray Hubbard is 40 feet deep officially. The deepest spot's 40 feet deep. My dad and grandpa and tons of other people I know, trustworthy sources, have told me that they have been out to parts of Lake Ray Hubbard in a boat. My dad said he was out on that boat with 70 foot on that lake in a boat with 70 foot of line and could not hit bottom with his anchor with 70 foot of line. That means his anchor went down 70 feet and he still wasn't touching bottom, yet they only officially admit that lake is about 40 feet deep. And my dad went to his grave saying that was bullshit. That he knew for a fact that it had parts of it that were very, very extremely deep. And so apparently what happened is they started discovering these rooms and stuff like this. And from what I understand, Kennedy, supposedly they found all these ancient technology. Supposedly there was a storehouse of technology that was located there in that vicinity that was stored by a civilization following the fall of Atlantis, and they used it as a storehouse for ancient alien technology. And apparently some of this was discovered sometime in 1962 or 1963. And through this and through stuff that had happened subsequently from the Roswell incident and stuff like that, Kennedy was, when he went to the International Trade Mart in Dallas, was getting ready at that press conference to reveal the existence of extraterrestrials because of this evidence that had been found in Rockwall, Texas. Now, I mean, there's no way for us to verify whether that's true or not, but think about this. Right around the time when Kennedy was assassinated, all of a sudden they made the decision that they were going to turn that wooded area into a lake. They had no construction, very little construction done. Kennedy's assassinated. They triple their construction work. And by about March or April 1964, Lake Ray Hubbard is completed. And they put a rush job on it, and they got that sucker done and made into a lake quick and filled up with water and filled their tracks up with water. They thought never to be seen again. But there are somewhere down there, and I know the spots exactly. It just happens to be the spots where these rock rooms are, just happen to be where the $1 million homes are. And, I mean, me and my buddies have been talking crazy shit about, want to, can we get, can we get a submarine? Can we get some divers? Can we get people that'll dive on there? Can we get a remote controlled fucking submarine with a camera on it? And I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we've been talking about. But the biggest, the bigger thing that strikes me is odd about this whole thing is I think 100% what the whole Rockwall thing was. I think it's Aslan. I think that's why the Republicans. I mean, Rockwall is the richest county in Texas, folks. You think that's an accident? You think it's an accident that all these rich fat cats, oil barons and billionaires, all this stuff just happen to build their houses right around that area where that's at? There's a huge elevation drop there too. It's like there's a point. We're in the flatland prairie here, folks. And there's one part right near Rockwall where it goes down into the basin where they built the lake. That's like, I don't know, a few thousand feet above sea level. And it's flat out here normally, but you can come down off the Highway 66 bridge and it comes right down to this big scoop. And that's where all these rock rooms were at. But there have been people who have, treasure hunters who have been in some of these caves and caverns that still exist. A lot of them have been filled up, but somebody out there knows something, and somebody out there is just waiting for the right time to tell somebody what they know. And I think that time has certainly come. And oh man, interesting stuff. Well, let's take a break, come back, and after we come back from the break, we will get see if I have any more news to finish up with. I don't know if I do or not, but we'll jump into the Kabbalion after that for you here tonight on the show. GlobalRealityShow@gmail.com if you want to send in any emails to me tonight or any other time. Back here with you on the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for another late night Moonbat edition of the show. We got a few more news stories to hit tonight. Then we're going to get into our continued reading of the Kabbalion. I think we're picking up where we're at tonight. Chapter number 4, I believe. Or did we do that last night? Who remembers? Are we on 4 or did we do 4 last night? I think we're on 4 tonight, I believe. But anyway, we'll be getting into that for you tonight on the show as well. Page 16, yeah, starting at number 4. Yep. All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. TheGlobalReality.com is our website. Don't forget, the Secret Right Volume 2 is now on sale. You can order your DVD packages, Blu-ray packages, all that stuff up there. It's still up on pay-per-view as well. And you can also watch an additional 49 minutes of the film. So an hour and 49 minutes of the 2 hour and 48 minutes are now for free up on YouTube as well. So definitely go and check that out. And please get a disc from us so we can continue to make more films and do the rest of this stuff. And I am going to take up Scott on his ideas there. I think he's got some good ideas for stuff. And lightening the load of what we do here is always a good, well, not lightening the load as far as output, but stress level and having to worry about all this stuff. I mean, if it's just when you're not working from that model of here's one big budget, you make a film and because that's actually the better way to do it. Then you don't have cost overruns. If you have one big chunk of money up front, okay, that's it. That's the budget. You make it work with this, or it doesn't work. You have just one set amount and that's it. That's sometimes that's easier, but nonetheless. But anyway, we did just have to pay the bills last week, and also having to buy the discs and stuff. It's put us kind of low. So please donate at the website, thegoldenreality.com. And again, that keeps us from having commercials and ads and all the rest of this stuff. But we're also all open, and I do want to bring some sponsors on as well if we find the right stuff. I want to find I've got a couple of companies in mind and stuff I've been looking at, but I want to try to do that I'm going to put all that stuff off until after I get this movie completely out and interviews done and all the stuff like that. Again, anybody out there, if you guys, I want to schedule some interviews, promotional stuff for this. So, again, radio hosts out there, whatever it may be, please contact me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com, and I'll send you over a review copy of the DVD before having me on. So there you go. Let's see what else we have here tonight. New video games give civil uprising tips. And yet again, another indicator that they are trying to instigate civil unrest and civil uprising. That's what all this is for. That's what Jones is for. All these, they are trying to engineer it. The era of spring uprisings and Occupy-style U.S. protests have inspired a new genre of serious video games designed to help activists develop strategy, all in the safety of cyberspace. Games like Power to the People, the game of civil resistance, allow would-be protest leaders to build and test their plans for peaceably opposing the police or the government without actually hitting the streets. Oh, yeah, well, that's great. War game scenarios for protests now, huh? Yeah, and I bet your stats and your scores go through Google and go to the NSA and go into their algorithms and go into profiles through that connect in through your Gmail account, through your email account, which also connect in through your Facebook account and all the rest of that stuff. I mean, these people aren't fooling anybody, folks. Why do you think they create this stuff? They're creating profiles on people. The game, which promises an opportunity to join a community of others who want to learn about civil resistance and nonviolent strategies, was created by York Zimmerman Incorporated along with the International Center on Nonviolent Conflict. I mean, that's just, come on. Enough said about that. Training simulators for civil unrest now? Really? Really? We've gotten to that point? My God. It's just, I can't even believe some of this stuff's real sometimes. Way over the top, way out of control. Adjusted my volume there. Sorry about that. What else? Japan was hit by a tsunami formed from 2 giant waves, reveal scientists. Until now, they were just hypothetical, but scientists have revealed that the 133-foot high tsunami was, oh, yeah, there we go. 133-foot high, yeah. Oh, goddamn, this shit just never ends with these people. You know, I was just about to say, hey, you know what? This is probably an indicator of what we already knew, that the giant tsunami was created by weather weapons. So 2 giant tidal waves formed and came together to form one gigantic wave and then hit Japan. Yeah, we already knew this was weather weapons from the jump. According to NASA and Ohio State University researchers, this merging tsunami doubled in intensity over rugged ocean ridges, greatly increasing its destructive power when it reached land. It was 133 feet high, yeah. The rare phenomenon was captured by NASA and the European radar satellites, able to calculate water depths down to a few centimeters. The fact that they were in the right place at the right time is described as a 1 in a 10 million chance by NASA scientists. So it was a 1 in a 10 million chance that they would be in the right place at the right time to capture images of that actually happening. Yeah, I wonder how they were able to do that. Because the same technology they're monitoring that stuff with, the reason they're monitoring it with that technology is because they're creating it. Give me a break. 1 in 10 billion chances that we would have caught that, and we just happened to be right there at the right time to catch that event happening. Yeah, they had to be there to capture it happening so they can prove that they actually have the ability to do this. So now this will go in secret memos to the Kremlin and, you know, secret memos to wherever across the globe. Look what we can do. Fuck you if you fuck with us. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, it's all, you know, it's funny, man. It's all there if you just look. It's all there in the news. It seems like the second largest object in the asteroid belt is really not an asteroid at all. Includes scientists working on NASA's Dawn mission, which is currently studying a 330-mile wide body called Vesta. Vesta is unlike any other asteroid we have visited so far. There is nothing in the asteroid belt that you can actually compare directly with Vesta. Saying that it's actually moves more like a planet. with geologic processes that formed an inner core most likely made of iron, made of a mix of minerals on its surface. So they're saying this thing's actually a planet. I mean, this combined with, it just seems like all of a sudden there's just been an explosion of space-related news that's happened over the past year. I mean, it definitely feels that there's a big rollout coming. They're setting the stage for some big revelation coming soon. You can just tell. And, of course, it'll be controlled, and, of course, it'll be probably half the truth, and, of course, it'll serve their larger agenda. They don't let you know shit unless it serves their agenda. You got that right? Good. I'm glad you do. Because that's a fact. The remains of hundreds of Los Angeles County residents whose bodies were never claimed by family or friends were buried in a mass burial Wednesday. Oh, great. Had a nice little ritual today, did we? This holiday season, many of us are reminded how fortunate we are to be surrounded by our loved ones. Sadly, not everyone shares this blessing. He said that the 1,639 people designated for the mass internment at the Los Angeles County Crematory and Cemetery are individuals that, for one reason or another, have no one but the county to provide them with a respectful and dignified burial. So respected and dignified is throwing 1,600 corpses in one big hole together? Okay. Yeah, the eugenics machine is alive and well. That's pretty much my summation for that story. The good citizens of Baghdad aren't the only ones who know what it feels like to be intimidated by representatives of Eric Prince, the Prince of Darkness, founder of Blackwater, the trigger-happy private security firm which was recently renamed Z Services. Jan Schakowsky, a Democrat politician from Illinois, announced in Congress this morning that Mr. Prince's lawyers have been threatening to sue her for making what they called defamatory statements about their client. Her speech accused the heavy-handed mercenary legal team of the attempted intimidation of a member of Congress. You can watch it below. Yeah, these guys do whatever they want, man. They're operating on the charter of the priest class, the charter of the Templar, the charter of the religious hierarchy. These guys can do whatever they want, no holds barred, no rules anywhere on the planet, because they are doing it by papal decree. Fact. No ifs, ands, or buts on that one. Let's get into the Kabbalion for you here tonight. Chapter 4, the all. Substance means that which underlies all outward manifestations, the essence, the essential reality, the thing itself, etc. Substantial means actually existing, being the essential element, being real. Reality means the state of being real, true, enduring, valid, fixed, permanent, actual, etc. Under and behind all outward appearances or manifestations, there must always be a substantial reality. This is the law. Man, considering the universe of which he is a unit, sees nothing but change in matter, forces, and mental states. He sees that nothing really is, but that everything is becoming and changing. Nothing stands still. Everything is being born, growing, and dying the very instant a thing reaches its height. It begins to decline. The law of rhythm is in constant operation. There is no reality, enduring quality, fixity, or substantiality in anything. Nothing is permanent but change. And those changes are permanent, but changes. Right? He sees all things evolving from other things and resolving into, it sounds like they fucking wrote Tom Sawyer off of this. He sees all things evolving from other things and resolving into other things, a constant action and reaction, inflow and outflow, building up and tearing down, creation and destruction, birth, growth, and death. Nothing endures but change. And if he be a thinking man, he realizes that all of these changing things must be outward appearances or manifestations of some underlying power, some substantial reality. All thinkers in all lands and in all times have assumed the necessity for postulating the existence of this substantial reality. All philosophies worthy of the name have been based upon this thought. Men have given to this substantial reality many names. Some have called it by the term of deity under many titles. Others have called it the infinite and eternal energy. Others have tried to call it matter. But all have acknowledged its existence. It's self-evident. It needs no argument. In these lessons, we have followed the example of some of the world's greatest thinkers, both ancient and modern, the Hermetic masters, and have called this underlying power, this substantial reality, by the Hermetic name of the All, which term we consider the most comprehensive of the many terms applied by man to that which transcends names and terms. We accept and teach the view of the great Hermetic thinkers of all times, as well as of those of illuminated souls who have reached higher planes of being, both of whom assert that the inner nature of the All is unknowable. This must be so, for not by the All itself can comprehend its own nature and being. The Hermeticists believe and teach that the All in itself is and must ever be unknowable. They regard all the theories, guesses, and speculations of the theologians and metaphysicians regarding the inner nature of the All as but the childish efforts of mortal minds to grasp the secret of the infinite. Such efforts have always failed and will always fail from the very nature of the task. One pursuing such inquiries travels around and around in the labyrinth of thought until he is lost to all sane reasoning, action, or conduct, and is utterly unfitted for the work of life. He is like the squirrel which frantically runs around and around the circling treadmill wheel of his cage, traveling ever and yet reaching nowhere, at the end a prisoner still, standing just where he started. And still more presumptuous are those who attempt to describe or ascribe the All the personality, qualities, properties, characteristics, and attributes of themselves, ascribing to the All the human emotions, feelings, and characteristics, even down to the pettiest qualities of mankind, such as jealousy, susceptibility to flattery and praise, desire for offerings and worship, and all the other survivals from the days of the childhood of the race. Such ideas are not worthy of grown men and women and are rapidly being discarded. At this point, it may be proper for me to state that we may make a distinction between religion and theology. Let me get a drink here. Between philosophy and metaphysics. Religion to us means that intuitional realization of the existence of the All and one's relationship to it, while theology means the attempts of men to ascribe personality, qualities, and characteristics to it, their theories regarding its affairs, will, desire, plans, and designs, and their assumption of the office of middlemen between the All and the people. And philosophy to us means the inquiry after the knowledge of things knowable and unthinkable, while metaphysical means the attempt to carry the inquiry over and beyond the boundaries and into regions unknowable and unthinkable, and with the same tendency as that of theology. And consequently, both religion and philosophy mean to us things having roots in reality, while theology and metaphysics seems like broken reeds, rooted in the quicksands of ignorance, and affording naught but the most insecure support for the mind or soul of man. We do not insist upon our students accepting these definitions. We mention them merely to show our position. At any rate, you shall hear very little about theology and metaphysics in these lessons. But while the essential nature of the All is unknowable, there are certain truths connected with its existence which the human mind finds itself compelled to accept. and an examination of these reports form a proper subject of inquiry, particularly as they agree with the reports of the illumined on higher planes. And to this inquiry we now invite you. That which is the fundamental truth, the substantial reality, is beyond true naming, but the wise men call it the all. In its essence, the all is unknowable. The human reason, whose reports we must accept so long as we think it all, informs us as follows regarding the all, and that without attempting to remove the veil of the unknowable. Number one, the all must be all that really is. There can be nothing existing outside of the all, else the all would not be the all. Number two, the all must be infinite, for there is nothing else to define, confine, bound, limit, or restrict the all. It must be infinite in time, or eternal. It must have always continuously existed, for there is nothing else to have ever created it. And something can never evolve from nothing. And if it had ever not been, even for a moment, it would not be now. It must continuously exist forever, for there is nothing to destroy it, and it can never not be, even for a moment, because something can never become nothing. It must be infinite in space. It must be everywhere. For there is no place outside of the all that it cannot be otherwise than continuous in space, without break, cessation, separation, or interruption. For there is nothing to break, separate, or interrupt its continuity, and nothing with which to fill in the gaps. It must be infinite in power, or absolute, for there is nothing to limit, restrict, restrain, confine, disturb, or condition it. It is the subject to no other power, for there is no other power. Number three, the all must be immutable, or not subject to change in its real nature, for there is nothing to work. There is nothing to work changes upon, nothing to which it could change, nor from which it could have changed. It cannot be added to, nor subtracted from, increased nor diminished, nor become greater or lesser in any respect whatsoever. It must have always been and must always remain just what it is now, the all. There has never been, it is not now, and never will be anything else to which it can change. The all being infinite, absolute, eternal, and unchangeable, it must follow that anything finite, changeable, fleeting, and conditioned cannot be the all, as there is nothing outside of the all. In reality, then, any and all such finite things must be as nothing in reality. Now, do not become befogged nor frightened. We are not trying to lead you to the Christian Science field under the cover of Hermetic philosophy. There is a reconciliation of this apparently contradictory state of affairs. Be patient, we will reach it in time. We see around us that which is called matter, which forms the physical foundation for all forms. Is the all merely matter? Not at all. Matter cannot manifest life or mind. And as life and mind are manifested in the universe, the all cannot be matter. For nothing rises higher than its own source. Nothing is ever manifested in an effect that is not in the cause. Nothing is evolved as a consequence that is not involved as an antecedent. And then modern science informs us that there is really no such thing as matter, that what we call matter is merely interrupted energy or force, that is, energy or force at a low rate of vibration. As a recent writer has said, matter has melted into mystery. Even material science has abandoned the theory of matter and now rests upon the basis of energy. Then is the all mere energy or force? Not energy or force as the materialists use the terms, for their energy and force are blind, mechanical things, devoid of life or mind. Life and mind can never evolve from blind energy or force. For the reason given a moment ago, nothing can rise higher than its source. Nothing is evolved unless it is involved. Nothing manifests in the effect unless it is in the cause. And so the all cannot be mere energy or force. For if it were, then there would be no such thing as life and mind in existence. And we know better than that, for we are alive and using mind to consider this very question. And so are those who claim that energy or force is everything. What is there then higher than matter or energy that we know to be existent in the universe? Life and mind. Life and mind in all their varying degrees of unfoldment. Then you ask, do you mean to tell us that the all is life and mind? Yes and no is our answer. If you mean life and mind as we poor petty mortals know them, we say no. The all is not that. But what kind of life and mind do you mean, you ask? The answer is living mind. As far above that which mortals know by those words, as life and mind are higher than mechanical forces or matter, infinite, living mind, as compared to finite life and mind, we mean that which the illumined souls mean when they reverently pronounce the word spirit. The all is infinite living mind. The illumined call it spirit. So that's the end of chapter 4, at the end of chapter 18 there. So we'll pick up next time, chapter 5, the mental universe. The mental universe. The universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. Interesting stuff there. Yeah. Kabbalion. Not sure what they're driving out here, what they're trying to convince us of with this. It does seem like it has an agenda to it, but yeah, good, interesting stuff. You know, like I said, you know, I don't always agree with everything I read, but I do like to read some of this stuff, especially, you know, any texts I can get my hands on that come from mystery schools or, you know, secret society, something like that. I mean, I'm way into that. I'm way into reading that on air because, you know, it's like one of those things where we need to get this stuff out there. It needs to be documented. This needs to be on the record, you know, because there just hasn't been enough people like myself doing this, reading this stuff out. And, you know, a lot of people I think are running around with opinions and judgments on a lot of things that they think they know a lot about, which they've never even bothered to study or read. I see that a lot in the quote unquote research community. Sad thing about the research community is there's not a lot of research going on, and it need more people doing it. But definitely salute those of you out there that are doing it. That's for sure. And definitely salute those of you that continue to tell people about my show and my work and support the network and what I do here. I really appreciate everybody out there so much. And please show your appreciation back. Please donate to our work, theglobalreality.com. Give us some support right now. We put everything we got into getting this film out, and we really could use some support, some help right now. So thanks so much to everybody out there. My name's Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you, and we'll see you tomorrow for the broadcast. You guys have a great one. Take care.